What's going on? It's Michael with Walk the Path. I'm here with Missy Tyszkiewicz with Hyde. She's the owner of the yoga studio here in Hyde Park. And we're here to talk today a little bit about her experience with the yoga studio, her experience in yoga, and also talk a little bit about her story and a little bit about what it takes to make changes in your life. So I've been coming to Hyde for a little bit over a year now, a year and a couple months.
At least, yeah.
And this has been just such a great avenue for me to make a lot of changes in my life. So I wanted to reach out to Missy and do an interview and bring her to you so that everybody else can taste a little bit about what happens here. So if you wouldn't mind, just talk about your experience so far with Hyde and yoga, and just kind of an overview of why yoga is important for people.
Gosh, that's a pretty encompassing question. That's a lot. Let's see, like you're asking for the universe in a nutshell. So, I started yoga a little more than 11 years ago, because I had a very broken body.
Okay.
And I kind of always, my path just kept kind of taking me to yoga, and I would try it. I tried it in my early 20s, and it just didn't resonate. And I just kept coming back to it over the years because there was something about it that just appealed to me just on a deeper level. And so by the time I hit my mid-30s, I had a couple of kids, serious back injury for probably 12, 15 years. And I finally decided, this is crazy. I want to participate in life.
Sure.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair. So I came back to yoga, and I finally found a style that really resonated with me. And a lot of it was based on empowerment and on being your absolute best self. And it became, for me, instantly a moving meditation. And so I walked away from the practice, not just with my body feeling amazing, because there was times when my body did not feel amazing because of, I was working through all of the injury and all of the weakness that was in my body, but my being felt amazing. Like I just was calm, and there was a lot of things to it, and I didn't really get it at the time, but all I knew was that I felt fantastic. So I stayed with it, and I stayed with it, and I just had such enthusiasm and love for it, and it just was healing me in such an amazing way that I became an advocate for yoga. And I would go around and tell everybody, you gotta try this, you gotta try yoga, you gotta try yoga, you gotta try yoga. And they would say, yeah, but we're really fit, and we don't do yoga. And I was like, no, just come to my house and I'll show you how to do yoga, because it's harder than you think. And so I kind of ended up being a teacher just because of my enthusiasm and my love of the practice. And then from there, I thought, okay, people started coming to my house and they liked it, and they kept coming. And so I figured, well, now it's time to actually get some training and know what I'm talking about a little bit more. And so I ended up kind of falling into teaching yoga. And then when I lived in Michigan at the time, and then I moved to Cincinnati, and I had been teaching yoga for a couple of years. And when I moved here, my mantra was that if I can't find it, I will create it. And I didn't try every place, but I tried some places around me, and I taught at some places, and I just never really quite fit in because my style was so different than what was happening at the time. And so I finally decided, I'm just going to create my own space, because I want to create a community of people that really are enthusiastic and love yoga in the way that I love yoga, and where I can bring my style and my love of empowerment to the people in my classes. And so I started the studio 5 years ago with no students, none at all, just on faith that people would come. And 5 years later, here we are. We're still here.
Quite a lot of people that come.
We have an amazing community, and I've been lucky enough to have people like you who come in who become seekers. So what we really have a lot of is a lot of spiritual warriors here. People who are really seeking something greater. They're walking the walk. They want to, they want some help along the path, and they're not just showing up for the aspects of the physicality, which is fantastic, but for the aspects of the spirituality and the philosophy and the ability to start to step into your best self and move into your best life. Because that is what I want for my students more than anything, is for them to see themselves the way that I see them, through my eyes, which is amazing, powerful, whole people that just need to shed all the stuff that's gotten in the way of them, going out and changing the world.
Right on, right on. So if somebody is thinking about yoga, what should they expect coming to a class? I mean, is it going to be that they're going to get all the benefits on the first day, or how does that?
Oh, wow. Well,
if it doesn't work, should they just go away?
No, it's really different for everybody. Like I said, I came to yoga 3 or 4 separate times before I went on this journey 11.5 years ago. So when I count my journey, it's from the time when I really get stuck and I stayed. But in those different times, I tried a lot of different styles, and they just didn't speak to my spirit. So this is to me, this is my love. This is what I love about the practice, and I love the space. But I may or may not be the teacher for everyone. They may come in and they may need to find a different style of yoga, but there is a style of yoga for every person. Expect to be, a little overwhelmed at first. Just there's oh my gosh, there's so much happening. And some of the yogis have been here for a long time. They've been here since we opened, and they're very skilled. But it doesn't matter. It's not where you are on your path. It's that you're on your path. And it's amazing to be a beginner, because we're all striving as we move along in our practice to step back into what it was like to be a beginner, because that's the time when you don't know anything. You just show up and you just do, and that's the power of the practice. I usually tell people, try it 10 times. Don't judge it until you've done it about 10 times. And once you've done it about 10 classes or so, you'll get a good sense of whether, you'll kind of know where you're going a little bit more.
Sure.
So you won't feel quite so lost. And in B, you'll just get a sense of it. You can't judge a class based on one time. Because it might be maybe you went to a teacher that wasn't for you, or maybe you didn't feel that good that day, or maybe for whatever reason, maybe that wasn't the experience that came together for you. But if you try something about 10 times, you're going to have 10 different experiences, and you're going to see if this is the style for you.
Okay, great. And then for anybody that's a little more cost conscious, are there discounts? What if they're not sure if they can afford it right away? How can they try it without
Well, there's a couple. We don't want you to sell the house, don't do that. Because we want yoga to be accessible. But there's several things that you can do. Firstly, we always have our new student special. It's a week for $15, so you can come in, spend a week, take as many classes as you want. We have really, really good student rates for people who are students. We let grad students do that. We have a ton of people who use the student rates. We have a donation-only community class on Sundays at 4. So if you want to come to that, come to that. At our downtown studio, we have a $5 Friday night. You can go in, it's $5. You get a class. And there's also other studios around the community. There's other free yoga that's run. So wherever it is, if the yoga speaks to you, then do it. And then I've had a lot of people approach me and say, I can't come because of finances. I'll work with you. I'd rather have you here than not here. For me, it's about your development more than it is about me making money. Of course I need to,
right.
People need to pay so I can still stay open. But, however, I'd rather have you here.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, as far as yoga, if somebody's an athlete, is yoga something that would help them?
Absolutely. Yoga is amazing for athletes. because it really teaches you how to, athletes are pretty connected to their body anyway, but not necessarily in a yoga way. Like we're used to pushing and ignoring the sensation that comes up to power through. And then yoga's about pausing and being in the sensation and saying, what is this? You know? And so you start to become a little bit more connected to what's happening in your body. And it also will improve balance. It will improve flexibility. It'll improve all of those things that make you a better athlete. The more flexible you are, the quicker your reaction time. So, yeah, absolutely. Yoga is so for athletes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
You know, if you're watching this, you're on the path anyway. So stay the course, stick with it. Even when it gets tough, and there's going to be times when you have setbacks, for sure. I've had more setbacks in my yoga practice than probably forward movement. But stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Because a breakthrough is almost always after a breakdown. So don't let the breakdown take you out of the game. Know that on the other side of a breakdown is just something really amazing, and there's a breakthrough and it's coming.
Awesome. Well, again, this is Michael. I'm here with Missy with Move Your Hyde. Feel free to check out our classes if you're in the Cincinnati area, whether in Hyde Park or downtown.
Or on podcasts. We have podcasts on iTunes.
Podcasts as well.
Yeah.
That's another way to check her out. She's got really good stuff. So thanks again.
Oh, thanks a lot.
See you, everybody.
Peace, peeps.